Department. I'm sorry, I lost it. This is really hard to
Yeah.
go through all of these because okay. They wanted to know why are you speaking so much and that you are monopolizing the time.
Well, I'm Victoria's guest.
No, Victoria. I thought I'd allow her to.
Oh, no problem.
Why am I speaking? I didn't know I was speaking too much. They can always, I mean, if they don't like the meeting, they're free to leave. I'm answering the questions that are being asked of me. That's why I'm speaking.
It says Mike Solon, why are you actively wearing and promoting the thin blue line imagery that other police departments and their chiefs are banning for their officers due to co-opting from white supremacists and extremists with hateful ideologies?
That's a false narrative that I will push back against every time that I can.
Stephanie,
Yes,
721 on that.
down. I'm trying to get through the comments. Jaden asked a question and I'm trying to find it, and I apologize because we have to scroll through all of the comments. And I think Jaden, what your question was, and I'm not finding it in the chat because I'm not there yet, was what do you have to say about the Summer Taylor incident? I think that was a question. I'll keep looking for it, but that's what I read earlier.
I'm sorry, I don't know the Summer Taylor situation.
The one, it was the I-5 where the young woman was hit by a car during the protest time.
Oh, I believe it was a white vehicle that hit her.
Yes.
It was going the wrong way on I-5. Yeah, it's tragedy. But I don't know anything else about that investigation or incident. All I know that any loss of life is tragic, and nobody should resort to that type of violence, and nobody should lose their life ever.
Okay.
It says, this is not a real public commentary if you are going to pick and choose who can talk.
Nobody's talking. Nobody's allowed to talk. We'll do a couple more questions so that we have time to do our community precinct updates, and then for community concerns other than this, if they have concerns about what's going on in their neighborhoods or wherever.
So Mike, I don't know. This says you weren't elected to be president of your union. How were you chosen?
Most unions that I know of, at least, but I can speak to this one in particular, we hold elections, and I was elected to be the president of this union.
Let's see. Going forward, how would you ensure that better dialogue and partnership with the various communities is fostered?
Well, I've been passionate to do that. And I think evidence of is my podcast, bringing on community members to talk. And Victoria was brave enough and showed leadership to come on my podcast. It's guests like that I want to bring on, where we can have these long form discussions that I think can get us in our community to a place where we can understand one another and heal and understand, so we don't have this divisiveness of this chat room threads of just insults or really good questions, if you will, that perhaps if we're one-on-one with each other, across from one another, working things out verbally via reasonable conversation where we can get to a place. And it's discussions like this that can lead us to more understanding. And in fact, it might have more questions. And that's the whole point of discussion. And that's why I think social media is just it's not a good platform that warrants or cultivates real discussion. It's just, it's not good. And you know, that's the reason why I started my podcast. I don't see anybody else doing it.
There's a question here from Sanayat. I think I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And I'm going to ask it. How do the officers feel about you using your platform as president and speaking on issues that directly affect them negatively? Will officers have a chance to express their views and stance?
I've already had officers on my podcast who have expressed their views, and their views have been illustrated in some news publications. What I do on behalf of the president is approved by the board of directors. There's a process, there's bylaws that I follow. There are rules that we follow. That's why I work for the membership. And if the membership doesn't feel as if I'm acting on their behalf, well, then they hold me accountable, period. And it's my pleasure and honor to work for them. And I adhere to my oath of service to them, as I promise to be their advocate, to be their voice. And I will do that with passion and conviction, but be humble enough to not have all the answers. I'm just a human being who's a copper, and I love being a cop. And I briefly approached this with Victoria on our talk, but we barely scratched the surface, and we need more of that. And it just tears me apart watching my profession get destroyed.
So everybody, I'm just going to speak up for a second. I think that we can keep things appropriate in the chat. If it gets out of control, the co-hosts will ask people to start leaving. There's no need for foul language or.
You know, if they're doing that, Nikki, put them out.
Okay, thank you.
We don't have really any more questions. We just have repeat over and over and over again opinions. So if, you know, I'm not seeing any new questions.
I'm
There's
scrolling
not.
through.
You don't see any more?
If someone has a question, a legitimate question, please raise your hand and we will read it. We'll have you put it in the chat and read it. Put it in the chat and then raise your hand, I should say.
And this is why we have to have them put it in a chat, because I'm not going to have it. You know, this is a meeting to discuss what was said and happened, and to try to understand. And I want it to be productive. I see a hand, I think, up.
I see one, if you don't mind me just maybe picking a comment that I saw. Somebody's asking for the FBI link to that arrest, and via the tweet. Yeah, they can. I linked it to my podcast in episode 5. If you want to check that out, you can go to the FBI website and look at that information. Again, this is why I say to you, why hasn't anybody that initially used that tweet for political purposes against me, why haven't they come back, where they claimed I was spreading misinformation? Why haven't they come back and address the issue that it's verifiable fact that the FBI put that out in a press release. To me, that's quite telling. And it's one of the reasons why I started my podcast, is to have a platform. And the question is to why won't they? That's the bigger question.
So there's a concern that's been mentioned a couple of times now that says, doesn't Mike have a close relationship with OPA, which presents a conflict of interest? Is that not? Oh, I lost it, but that was the gist of it.
Good question. No, it's a professional relationship where I have to engage on union matters regarding the discipline process with acts of potential misconduct for scheduling purposes, to make sure we have guild representation to represent those members who are involved in those investigations. And the reason why I say that is because I'm very proud of my ability to be reasonable with people and engage in conversation that is professional and cultivates a good professional working relationship that's in the union, that's the best interest of the union and the best interest for the police officers, and in my view, the best interest for the community at large. That's part of my representation, to be their voice.
There's a question from Joanna about what reforms do you support?
This is our last question.
Yeah.
What reforms do I support? Well, you got to be more specific. Are we talking about the bills in Olympia? Are we talking about policing in general? And what I will say, broadly speaking, is that having been here 21 years, going on 22, I've been involved in the reform process since the Department of Justice has been here, and I've had an intimate role in that, where I've conducted training. I'm an instructor myself. I believe in this job of policing, and I do not want to watch it be destroyed to where it's untenable anymore. It's basically watching your life's work be completely removed and not being able to do anything about it. And every police officer must be a professional. And if they try to push back against any inference of reform or any inference of accountability, shouldn't be considered a professional police officer. And if we're to be considered credible in our community, then we must participate in what the community wants, because we work for them. I mean, our oath of service is to literally give our lives in the performance of our duties for complete strangers, even the people that absolutely hate us. And if those community members are directing the police to conduct themselves in a particular manner, and the discussion revolves around reform, well, then there must be a reason as to why the community is feeling that way. And as professional police officers, ones that serve the community, we have to abide by the community's bidding, period, or else we shouldn't be in this profession. But the role of a police union is to make sure that the process is fair, just like in teachers' unions, healthcare unions, any union across the board. And I love being a copper, and I will do everything I can to try to protect this profession with professionalism and distinction. And I'm truly honored to be here, Victoria. I realize how difficult it's been for you, and I respect the hell out of you, and I respect the hell out of the people that were participated in this call, that had a reasonable discussion. And I will come back anytime, and I will talk with anybody, even the ones that disagree with me. That's my passion. Get to know me.
Well, thank you, Mike. Thank you for coming on. And like I said, I struggled with my relationship with you. But I think you're right. When you sit down with somebody and talk with one-on-one, I think you get a feel of who they are. And I encourage people to sit down and have a one-on-one with you. And also, I said it earlier that you said that you're willing to learn and grow. And I feel like everybody who says that needs an opportunity to. But thank you. And I don't know where we go from here. I'm really disappointed. I didn't see the chat, but some of the stuff that's been texted to me, I'm just really disappointed. I think myself and a lot of people that are on here, we're ready to bridge a gap and make change and hold people accountable in a peaceful way where we're heard. So that being said, thank you. And now we're going to go.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I want to thank you too for being courageous enough to hold this platform. And Mike, thank you for coming on as well. Vicky, it took a lot of effort and to go out. These conversations are always going to be hard, and people are always going to have really differing opinions, but we have to start somewhere. And maybe if we continue to have these type of conversations where we get the ones that want to dominate the chat, maybe eventually something to break through. So don't give up, and don't give up.
You're absolutely right. You're right. And I'm not giving up yet. And if I give up, it's not because of them, but even the ones that aren't ready, I respect their views, because we're not all at the same place. My hatred for police, and I still have my issues, but there comes a point when we have to try to work it out somehow. But and I respect everybody's view, but we need to talk like we have some sense. And so that's what I'm about. But thanks for saying that, Felicia. Okay, so let's is Captain Sano here?
He was earlier. Let me look.
Or in any precinct that wants to do an update?
I'm here.
Okay.
I did not realize I was going to be speaking first. Let me pull up my report. Well, basically, we're 2 months into this year, so it's kind of premature to give a lot of the information. We are still, we've got several issues that we are looking at that people have found to be an issue as far as crime in the East Precinct. I can only speak to the East Precinct. And right now it's our property crimes and our auto thefts, because we are overall down in overall crime by about 14%. 7% in violent crimes were down. But what's dominating our areas are property crimes, and specifically, as always, auto thefts and burglaries. So we're working on those issues. As you know, we had an incident yesterday where a gentleman went into the Catholic Community Services and attempted to shoot the woman that was trying to help him with some issues he was having. We don't know what precipitated that, and then he took his own life. But there were about 30 employees inside Catholic Community Services that quite frankly did an excellent job of sheltering in place to the point where we could get in there and evacuate them safely over to the library and get some information from them. But it was a very tense, almost an active shooter situation. And as I said, we're still trying to sift out the details on what caused this gentleman to do what he did. It's really is a very sad situation. So I don't have any more information on that one, but I just wanted to let people know what happened, because I know I get asked that question all the time at community meetings. Why did this person do this? We don't know at this point. So that's all I have right now.
Thank you, Captain. Any other updates? Okay, so we can do our community concerns. If anybody has any community concerns outside of our guest.
So Jaden has a update from the the precinct.
Huh?
Jaden has an update from the People's Precinct.
Who's that?
Not sure.
Somebody
in the-
asked a general question, Victoria, about community concerns. Daniel Nicholas asked, please take care of the massive amount of crime in the Central District. This place is becoming unlivable. I'm not sure what crime they're talking about, but I think that's relevant to your request that people express community concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is when will the wall be taken down so that the sidewalks can be used?
Do you want to answer that, Captain Sano?
Give me just a second to unmute him.
Yeah, we're still we're in the process of working with our facilities people and trying to determine how best to go about doing this. And so we are right now meeting with fleets of facilities on getting the windows fixed and the boards taken down and getting the concrete blocks away. But right now there is no definitive timeline. There is a cost associated with it, and we are working with the chief of police is really the one who's dictating how we're doing this. But his chief operating officer has met with me several times. We've done several precinct tours to figure out how best to do this. But I want to get that precinct open because it's not right. It's not a good way for our officers to work or for the community to be able to come to the precinct and file reports.
There is a question about the CSO, update on the CSOs. I don't know, Captain Santa, I don't know if you or someone else on the call.
I don't have any
I didn't-
information on the CSOs. I'm sorry.
Chief Herjack, I don't think I saw him on here. Gina, would you like to speak on the CSOs, or Heidi? I think I saw Heidi.
Heidi wants to speak on it.
Okay. There's 3 pages, so we have, there's a lot going on here.
Hi, Felicia. We actually have 2 of our CSOs here now. If we can unmute, it says Vicky on there. So Vicky is available to speak. They're 2 of our, there she is.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Thanks, Heidi.
Yeah, they're 2 of our wonderful CSOs and are just doing an incredible job trying to get out there and meet the demands that are out there right now. But again, they are a new unit that is growing and learning as we go, but they're working so hard. So if Vicky and Margito want to say hello, if they're able.
They should be. They just have to unmute themselves.
Oh, there they are.
Oh, try again.
Here we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Margito, CSO 21. And I'm Vicki, CSO 10. And I would just like to take this opportunity to thank the Duwamish people whose land we're on for land acknowledgement. But also if we can just do a real brief on, I think it was the 6th, we held a drive for Share the Warmth, hat and glove drive. So what we're hoping to do with those hat and gloves, put them in the officers' cars or take them out to the community and give back to the community. We collected about 360 plus hats and gloves and blankets and coats, not as many, but we were hoping to also in the future work with the Duwamish tribe to collect. We're going to meet with them to see what they want, what they're doing in their community. They are collecting coats, and we've been handing out hats and gloves. We've gone to precincts without realizing that we needed to get permission to give them to the officers to put in their cars so that when they come across a homeless person or engage with somebody who's cold, they could be able to give that hat and glove to them. And we made these little goodie bags where we could put snacks and different things in there for them.
And we also this Saturday doing kids bid for kids at the Park 95. We usually, Felicia used to do it, I remember. Parents will come and pick it up, but this time it's drive through, pick it up. This Saturday all day from 10 o'clock at the Park 95. Thank you.
Thank you. Any community concerns? This is a first.
Let's see, who was one? It says, why can't we have a military training provided for eligible community volunteers? A set of guidelines for them to be taught. Not quite sure what that. Why can't we have a military training provided for eligible community volunteers? A set of guidelines for them to be taught. Not quite sure what that means. Sydney, you want to answer? Oh. Okay, well, we do have the Citizen Academy. The police department does a community police academy where you can come and learn all about each unit of the police department, if that's what you're speaking of. I'm not quite sure. I didn't really get the gist of the question there, military training. So that is something available, and it's found on the seattle.gov website. One shall be starting soon.
And if they're interested, who do they contact?
They can contact me, Felicia Cross. I'll put my information in the chat. I'm working on starting up one for March 31st, and it will be virtual. Vicki, can you answer the?
Can I what?
Can you answer this message?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, let's see here. Got one more here. Nikki, can you unmute? Oh, here, let me see. I might be able to do it. There you are, Captain Davis.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I think you mentioned all the pertinent points, especially as far as our bureau goes, Felicia. I know you did mention the Citizens Academy, which is an excellent portal to understand exactly what police do, how we do it, and why we do it, and understand the policies as well. I think that's important for individuals that really want an in-depth view of exactly how police operate. Also, coming in the near future, we're looking at a Citizens Academy for our youth as well, which we'll probably be pushing out somewhere near the summer, or even beyond that, a little bit earlier than that. So hopefully we can get that information out to everybody once we solidify exactly what that will look like. That will basically bring our youth together from various areas of our communities, so they can have an opportunity to learn and grow, and hopefully that'll lead to better opportunities, hopefully job opportunities later on down the road. So that's some of the things that our bureau, Collaborative Policing Bureau, is looking at. And just to get people communicating with law enforcement and putting them on the right path. Sometimes we don't have all the answers. A lot of times we don't have all the right answers, but at least we can be used as a switchboard to get people the services and the assistance that they truly need. Cut through some of that red tape. And if it takes us to be a little bit more than we have been in the past, that's what it takes. But we're here to communicate and to partner with our various communities, and not double down on a bunch of rhetoric that does us no good whatsoever. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say. But thank you again, obviously, Victoria, Felicia, and others that assisted in the chat tonight. I don't think we got to yes, but we did get a clear understanding of exactly what people are talking about, how they're talking, and exactly what the aim of this body is to do. And that's going forward. What does the collaboration and the communication piece look like going forward from this point? I think that's an important concept. You can't stay mad forever, but now you have an opportunity at this point in time not to beat on one another, but to try to get to yes, try to get to where we're able to communicate with each other for a betterment of any community and every community in Seattle. That's what we're here for. And that's it from me. Thank you. Thank you for unmuting me. I couldn't do it on my end.
thank you. So we only have a couple minutes left, and I think we're going to just end it there. But I thank everybody for coming, and I mean everybody for coming. It takes all of us, and hope everybody has a great week. Thank you.